Parent engagement is an essential component of Ontario's equity and inclusive education strategy. Parents play a vital role in the development and education of their children. They influence their children's attitudes about learning and support learning at home and at school. Ontario's new parent engagement policy recognizes that student achievement and success increase when parents are welcomed and respected as partners and given the support they need to contribute to their children's learning. When parents become involved in the life of the school, they make schools better places to learn, grow, and thrive. Meaningful engagement with parents helps remove barriers, increases access for all parents, and improves outcomes for every student, regardless of their circumstance. The Ministry of Education, district school boards, and schools benefit from the important work parents do to help their children succeed in school, and by ensuring that parent perspectives are heard and considered in developing policies and programs at the provincial, regional, and local levels. Through this video, you will gain an understanding of various forms of parent engagement and how these contribute to student and school success. Experience how schools in Ontario today can strengthen school and community relationships. Find approaches and practices that you can adapt to your own school communities.
If you really want to maximize parent engagement, which again is absolutely fundamental to public education, the key for me is to make sure that it's absolutely clear that everyone knows that it's their responsibility. And not just their responsibility, that they understand why and that they understand how they can contribute.
And I think where schools have been very successful in engaging parents in general has been because they've built solid relationships with parents as partners, and they really value whatever unique needs those parents are bringing forward. Parents have so much more that they can bring to us if we allow that, if we really try to, hear the voice that they're bringing, the ideas, and try to embrace that change together. I think then we'll be very successful.
An inclusive school board really is about equal access to the benefits that we have to offer. And I think we have to constantly remember that that may require differentiated treatment. What we're trying to do is improve the performance of our students, prepare them for what they're going to face when they leave us. And we know we can't do that alone. So to engage our parents is critical to our success.
As a parent, I'm impressed constantly with how this school is trying to reach out to us as a family. So from simple announcements that will come across our voicemail, so knowing that they're constantly looking for open communication with us as families.
One of the key things that we've been doing is to try to make it clear that parent engagement is at every level of the organization. It's the responsibility of absolutely everyone involved in the school and in the board, and so that our frontline staff, our secretaries, our clerical workers understand their role in parent engagement in terms of welcoming parents into the school. That certainly our caretaking custodial staff understand their role, and it just opens up all of the opportunities when everyone's engaged in the process.
I think for a school, we really need to use our community partners as well as having our parents come into the school and provide different opportunities for the students, as well as participating in the different opportunities that we have for both the students and the parents.
When beginning this process, one of the key things and fundamental, I think, for it to be successful is that you need to have the voice of the students, the staff, and the community. So if you're beginning to look at an equity inclusive policy, you need to involve all of the stakeholders and you need to listen to them and see where they are. And that's a collective commitment from all parties, all people that are involved in the school. And I firmly believe there isn't anyone who doesn't want for their youngster or for their student an equitable opportunity to be successful, to be inclusive, and to find their pathway through school and then, post-secondary, whatever that may be.
It's critical to focus on a student's strengths and competencies. One of the first conversations that a teacher can have with his or her students is, what are you good at? And that should be a detailed conversation. And that will enhance the student's sense of self and level of confidence. That can also be one of the first conversations that education staff have with parents. It opens the door to other meaningful communications.
I feel like they take all my kids as their own, like they're their children too. If I come in, I know the secretary, I've known the principal and the teachers, even the teachers they went through, they still say hello to me, and it's just, they make me feel welcome. I don't know, it's a friendly environment. As soon as you walk in, you just feel it. People say hello and other parents are talking amongst each other. It's a welcoming place.
First of all, we made a really strong signal that parent and community engagement is critical to our success. So we've done a satisfaction survey. We totally understand and recognize that our parents are our students' first and best teachers, and teachers, support staff, trustees, leaders, parents, we all want the same thing. We want better outcomes for our students. So with that end in mind, we continue to reach out to our parents and our community and work with them to better serve our students.
It has been an incredible experience for us as a family coming to this school. And I point back to the fact of how important, as a family, you make a decision that is right for your children, and what role that school plays in that decision is pivotal. For us, what was important to us was getting a chance to meet with the principal. The principal in this particular school was very open to the idea of meeting with us, and not knowing us and who we are. What was important to us was the time she took to sit down and talk with us, hear what we were coming from, where we were coming from, and what we were hoping to have at a school for our children. More so for my oldest daughter, entering grade 9 into a brand new school, coming from losing her friends and all of those social connections, it was important for her to feel that sense of connection and a sense of belonging.
We make a number of connections to outside schools. One is our feeder schools. We have a great cross-panel relationship. So we have common language from our grade 8s coming into grade 9, and we work certainly with literacy and numeracy there. In addition, we work with the parents from the incoming school. Within our own school, we have just started a play school because we want to bring our parents into our school, and this is a new community. So our play school now is just started, and we have our parenting students who take the parenting course. They are in charge of 15 young little ones where they're coming here to be educated on a number of different areas of play. Our students are being educated. The parents just love it. They are part of the school, and now they're finding coming into the school is not as threatening. They're finding it as a very welcoming place. And sometimes parents have their own ideas about adolescence, and they don't hear the best. Once they walk into this building and they see the types of things that our students are doing, they understand absolutely how wonderful young people are and what they can contribute.
Ultimately, school board trustees have a responsibility to the students, to the community, to the parents, to ensure that those students that are coming to our schools who have come from a faith background, no faith, if different sexual orientation, different belief sets, that there is an understanding around that table that all of those students are welcome in our schools and should have the ability to feel safe and welcoming, and that the policy supports the initiative to connect the student achievement piece to an equitable learning opportunity.
Et ces impacts-là sont sérieux parce qu'ils ont un impact sur le système scolaire et sur la clientèle et sur l'élève en bout de ligne. Donc, je pense que chaque conseiller scolaire doit vraiment s'informer, doit vraiment aussi prendre le pouls de sa communauté parce que chaque communauté change un peu en fonction des groupes culturels qui sont dans chacune des communautés et apporter à la table la vision de tous.
Well, I know of an incident where a caller called a trustee and said, you know, in light of the new equity policy, you are teaching our children tolerance. And that trustee responded by saying, no, we're not teaching them tolerance. We're aiming higher than tolerance. And actually, that's a calling that we have as trustees. We don't tolerate progressive initiatives. We have to embrace them. We have to accept them. We have to model them. And a strong equity policy can change the whole culture of a school, can change the culture of a community. And that's the responsibility at the table, is to model that behavior and to have the courage to stand up in the face of intolerance.
I think the idea of equity and diversity, I think the philosophy of it, everyone embraces. I think that school boards, no doubt, teachers, no doubt, all really support this initiative. But I think more importantly, what we need to see is a bit more action and execution of this philosophy that we have. I think we have to take more of a forward stance with equity and inclusion, ensuring that students feel like they're safe rather than just seeing it on paper. I think that means more events. I think that means more discussion. I think that needs more just a general attitude, I think, that teachers and students need to adopt, which is just an attitude of universality, I think.
Equity in our schools is shown on so many levels. Where we see equity is the number of clubs in the school, how the staff are involved with not just the sports clubs, but they'll create an international food club or a social justice club, and we're in an inner city school, and still our students are out in the community, and you can see that it's not just about what they're doing on a particular thing, it's about helping their community. So I think the schools that really reflect equity are those that aren't just focused on one thing, that they're focused on a number of activities.
We ensure that every month a newsletter goes home in each of the classrooms as well as a school, and within those newsletters we would make sure some important dates are included within, as well as tips for the parents to know exactly what they need to do at home to help their children succeed in school. In addition, we do something called Center Voice, which is calling out to all of the families on the phone line to announce different activities taking place. We not only just use the phone because some don't have phones, we send an additional letter home. We send pamphlets. We've dropped pamphlets in mailboxes. We canvass. We definitely go above and beyond to make sure that our parents feel that they're welcome in the school.
One of the things we've done at the school effectively has been to open our doors, and we invite people into the school, but we also tend to go out to areas in the community. We will go to a group where mothers meet, and I will talk about curriculum, talk about literacy, share the newsletter in a variety of languages, and ask opinions. So sometimes we in education think that we need to only invite people into our building. I think we can be active and proactive in actually seeking out opinions. So certainly I do invite as many volunteers as possible in a variety of ways, whether it's working in classrooms with children, serving as translators for other parents with permission. We also work on asking parents to serve as mentors within our community as well, and that's gone really well, particularly for some of our older grade 7 and 8 students. The parent mentor piece has been very helpful.
Parents come and go, and so there's lots of communication daily, so that face-to-face, I think, really makes the parents feel welcome here as well. So they come in, I say, hey, and we just have a quick, brief, informal conversation, but I also say, can't wait to see you at the literacy night in a couple nights, and that really has made a difference. And the final real push that we found that worked was having the kids at an assembly right before we are going to have an activity and really talking to them about it. So they go home right away and talk about it and say, this is going on tomorrow or this is going on tonight and I want to come. And the kids, because they love the school, they want to come back, they want to be here, and their parents just come along with them. So I think that's been a big seller as well.
As a PIC committee, we're always looking for resources to support us and support our parents. And particularly parents that aren't in our schools all the time. So the Council of Ontario Directors of Education have produced this Building Parent Engagement handbook or a guide. So there's a toolkit here for parents, and this would be for the parent at home. It covers a number of things that parents can do with their sons or daughters at home, with helping with math, such as just maybe measuring some cake, to make a cake or make anything with food, to measure the size of a room or how many objects are present or something like that. So that's the tool guide for parents. That really focuses on the elementary parent. They're working on a guide for the secondary panel. Planning parent engagement booklet is for PICs or for school councils. So it has bigger ideas of what schools can do to bring parents in. So that would be something like running a science fair to help parents understand how science is being taught in the school. So it would be something that you would do with parents, with the teachers and staff and principal, and also with the students. And it gives you a sort of step-by-step on how to do that. So both of those are available, and it does come with a USB, so you can load it onto a website easily.
In 2007, we built a playground in a day together. All different community organizations came together for the whole purpose of providing this amazing play structure for our kids. And at the same time, we built 2 community gardens. And so that's kept on a seasonal basis by our parents and the community members. We have a formalized garden group for the kids to go and plant and weed, but we come back in the mornings and it's been weeded by community members who are just walking by or who take pride in the area. So it's been really a successful program.
Dans le jardin, tout le monde est impliqué. Il y a des différentes plantes, tout le monde s'intéresse aussi dans la culture. Et tu sais, comme il y a des différents niveaux, par exemple maternelle, jardin, première, et il y a des plus grands niveaux, 4e, 5e, 6e. Et tout le monde travaille ensemble, comme les 6e sont avec les maternelles pour les aider à planter et tout. Et les 5e années avec les jardins, et les 4e avec les premières pour aussi s'entraider ensemble.
On est très chanceux d'avoir un jardin. On a 2 personnes qui l'entretiennent volontaire et on est chanceux d'avoir un jardin parce que chaque jour tu viens et tu le vois pousser et on a beaucoup de fleurs, beaucoup de plantes, comme des carottes et des choses comme ça. Et ça ramène aussi l'école plus proche car, comme Shams avait dit, tu le fais avec des plus petits parce que c'est tellement de différence, tu interactes moins, mais ça s'amène beaucoup plus proche.
With the parent survey, it was a starting point to ask some tough questions about what does diversity look like in a school? What do you see happening in our school that would support you actually coming into our school? We've also wanted to know, where we are along the continuum, of cultural proficiency in simple language to try and understand, to give some direction. That information is always brought back to our parent council. I think the important part is trying to start with that parent council piece because they are a collective group that can go back out into the community and to share some of the aspects to bring more people into our school.
The satisfaction survey was just recently completed, I think about 2 weeks ago. And what we're going to do is analyze those results and really to do a bit of a temperature reading on the organization. Certainly we know there's a lot of great things going on, but there's always, opportunities to get better.
It was important for me to be a part of my children's education. So being a part of their daily life was very fulfilling, and watching them grow and learning what they are learning made me a better parent, I think, and was able to, at home, reciprocate that and reaffirm whatever they're doing at school. And it's just great to be a part of their life.
We encourage as a PIC committee that schools let parents know about the volunteer opportunities in the school and to invite parents to come and help. There's obvious things such as field trips, coming in to help with the library, sorting books, might be handing out pizza at lunchtime, but there's also opportunities for parents to help specific children in the classroom. So a parent might want to read with a child, or they might want to do some math, or support a healthy activity or something like that, or a fun day at the school.
We participate in as much as we can with the school. I just try to let the kids know that, I try to let them know that it's not getting an education is really important to them, and the only way I see they're going to get that aspect is if I do the same thing. Like when the school has things going on, I feel it's only right that we come and participate in it, and the kids seem to enjoy, and it makes them feel proud that we're proud of what they're doing and what's going on in their school.
Research shows that the more the parent supports the child at home, the less likely the child is to miss school. The more likely they are to do better on their tests and homework assignments or school assignments. The more likely they are to stay in school and graduate, and the more likely they are to go on to something after school, post-secondary or work.
As a school, we want to make sure that the students of our school see themselves in their school and feel comfortable in their school, see themselves in their education and in the instruction in the classroom. We have 50% Aboriginal population in our school, so we ensure that the children and the parents who come in of that background feel welcome. So I feel strongly that the face of the Canadian student is changing dramatically. I love seeing children of different ethnic groups come forward and participate in the larger school community. So we have different wall hangings created by Aboriginal artists throughout. As well, on display we have the First Nations Resource Collection, which is a board-wide initiative. I wanted to be a part of that in so many ways, and the most easiest and accessible way was celebrating different celebrations throughout the school year, and Diwali is something that I partake in because at the time of Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, all those events are around the same time of the year. So that's something that I've played a role in throughout my children's education, was coming forward and sharing the parallels of the different celebrations that we do. Our board was very fortunate to have been one of the school boards in Ontario chosen for the Urban Aboriginal Education Project. And so they received a grant, and part of that grant was to create the First Nations Resource Collection that every school received. And the teachers have been trained on different lesson plans that go along with the First Nations Resource Collection. So there's different pieces within that collection that they can take, for example, a Métis sash, and there's a lesson that goes along with it, or multiple lessons. I have about 10 teachers go to these sessions and learn about how to incorporate Aboriginal education, Aboriginal culture into the curriculum that they're teaching now. So we've seen some amazing results. But in addition to that, we make sure we celebrate every different culture that we have in the school. We have something called Heritage Day put on by one of our education assistants every year, where we celebrate every different culture. We have many community partners who come in and present different shows for us. We have Scottish dancing and Ukrainian dancing and Italian dancing, and we just celebrate every culture that we possibly can think of for a full day, and we've had nothing but positive results with that. We have an annual powwow where we have our community partners come in, a variety of different dancers and drummers, and teach our students about the Aboriginal culture. And so the kids all sit in a big circle in the gym, and the powwow and the dancing go on in the middle, and it's been an amazing process as well.
There's that absolute recognition that we need to do more to reach out to our diverse parents. We know that one size doesn't fit all, and so it really is a work in progress. When I look at some of the work that's happening through our parent and literacy centers, when I take a look at the fact that we've actually done a satisfaction survey, again, reaching out and made sure that that was done in a number of different languages so that we could get their voice and again, continue to reach out and work with them on behalf of our students.
Here are some things you should consider when looking at your own school community. Are all parents given the opportunity to contribute? Do the languages in which information is distributed represent the languages used by parents of children at the school? What arrangements can be made to include parents who live a greater distance away from the school? What arrangements have been made to accommodate parents' work schedules? Do parents know what ways they can contribute to the school community? How will support be provided to enhance parent engagement in their children's learning? And how will community members know that their ideas have been taken into consideration?
It's absolutely critical, in my view, to see parent engagement as the means to the ultimate end. The ultimate end is student achievement and student well-being. And I believe that that's really enriched the relationship between educators and parents and the public because they understand that it's not attendance at school council meetings or not attendance at the parent-teacher interview that is the ultimate outcome. It's in fact through those strategies that we will support one another in ensuring that our students are successful in the long run.
My encouragement then as well to parents is that they get actively involved in their school, that they take the time to ask the question, to know that the principal is there to hear what they have to say when it comes to what they want for their children, and more importantly, to have that constant dialogue with their teacher, to know that teachers are here to help understand what they can do more for kids rather than trying to guess.
Parents are well aware, regardless of their busy schedules, of what's going on in the classroom, and that they can share their observations and their thoughts back with the teachers, who then in turn can incorporate that into their planning for each and every student every day.
I believe strongly that children have a right to learn, a right to share who they are, and that's not just in the home front, but part of their whole school community environment. When they're at school, which is a good portion of their day, so they should be able to share who they are, where they come from, and that should be included into the school system, so it's not a segregated sort of identity that they have at school and at home. It should become one, and children have that right to share who they are. They have the right to learn about one another as well.
How do we help the parent at home to help their son or daughter do better? And it's not just about test scores. It's actually that they become critical thinkers, that they're enjoying their school. Research shows that the more the parent supports the child at home, the less likely the child is to miss school. The more likely they are to do better on their tests and homework assignments or school assignments. The more likely they are to stay in school and graduate, and the more likely they are to go on to something after school, post-secondary or work. And become a contributing member of society. So at the PIC level, that is definitely an objective of the board, and the more that the parents understand that and can support that and look for things that the school boards and schools do, then the more likely we are to achieve that goal.
It makes me feel like I'm not alone trying to raise these kids. Like, I feel good when they come here. I know that what we're trying to implant in them at home, it's being done here too.
Of course, the relationship between teachers and parents is really pivotal to parent engagement.
I think we've had some really good success at our school. I think we've reached out to the parent community and they've engaged with us. I'm absolutely delighted at the response that we've had.
But we know that when we work together on behalf of our students, they get better life outcomes and they get better academic outcomes.